Thank you so much. As a former mayor, I just really want to say we should listen to our mayors who are dealing with this issue every day. It's amazing when there are crises, you always see the mayor as the go-to person to deal with the crisis. Let's get the mayors involved, make sure their voices are heard to prevent some of these disasters. So let's talk about the data that we should. We heard my former colleague, Mayor Cooper, talk about the basis of design support. Enable for us to truly address the issue of water infrastructure in our country, we need data. It should be mandatory that every city conducts this type of review of their water infrastructure. So many of us will, as we talk about investment in our infrastructure, water should be a priority. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I represent Michigan. And what we went through with Flint and across the country, it was a shock to us to understand that water is not a luxury. It is a need to live. And it is not something that should be predicated upon the wealth of your community. So there is some things that I think we really need to have on point. Water main breaks. People used to ask me as a mayor, what keeps you awake at night? It was not things that you think about potholes. Yes, I didn't like the potholes and I got beat up a lot about it. But water main breaks, when you flush your toilet, when it rained, was it going to back up in your basement? Those things kept me awake at night. It's a quality of life issue. We have 240,000 water main breaks. And what we're doing, we're wasting 2 trillion gallons of treated drinking water. And there's communities who are struggling right today in America to get clean drinking water, going through the conservation issues that you talked about, Mr. Gomez, to just survive and have water quality, and we're wasting it every single day. Army Corps of Engineers have a backlog of $56 billion. And what does that include? The levees and the dams that are breaking every time we have these natural disasters and coastal inlands. These are issues that we must make water infrastructure. So, Mr. Levin, I want to ask you this question, Mr. Levine. Across the country, we are now dealing with this water issue affordability with low-income communities. How do we create a 21st century water infrastructure that ensures that we are in America, as we talk about health care and tax structure, that the basic human need of water is being addressed?
Thanks. There are many legs to the stool, right? It's a combination. What we do really need in order to make sure that at the level of an individual household, of every individual household, that there's that access to affordable water and sewer and stormwater service, right, is to make sure that the cost that's borne locally is a cost that the utility can fairly collect from those who are served. Right? And so that's a function of knowing what the cost is, right? Identifying what the needs are, what the priority spending is, things like water loss, water.
Can you include in that, how does encouraging or incentivizing these communities to consolidate? Because while as mayor, I love to have everything on my own, but then a poor community a couple of miles down the road, they can't afford water, but I'm doing well. Can you put that in your statement as well?
Sure. Yeah. No, there's absolutely a place for that, and there's as other witnesses have talked about, you can have literal consolidation of the physical plant of different utilities when they're close enough to each other and when that makes sense. You can also have regionalization in ways that allow utilities to share management expertise and purchasing power to get economies of scale, and those are absolutely important things to look at. That they don't by themselves solve the problem, but they help. And so solving the problem, as I said, there's the federal money and the state money to make sure that the amount that needs to be spent locally is manageable. There's efficiencies and strategies at the local level to reduce the costs of providing the service, and there's assistance to individual households.
Mr. Proctor, before my time run out, I am a strong, strong component of skilled trades. And your company talks all about the jobs that will be created through this investment in our infrastructure, especially water. Can you please, in the time remaining, talk about that?
Well, every $1 billion of water infrastructure investment produces about 28,000 jobs, I think the statistics show. So it is, when we invest in our water, not only are we providing something essential for the health of our communities, but we're also helping those communities get off the ground by providing good-paying jobs that they can then put back into those communities.
It's a win-win. I close with this. We're looking at our tax structure tomorrow, I understand. We cannot take away those tax-exempt municipal bonds. It's critical that we keep that. Thank you so much, and I yield back.
Thank you very